I don't know if I did the prophecy on YouTube yet. But I kept asking God about YouTube. I just had this weird instinct about it because it's so all over the place. And I get why, because when I worked at Blizzard, when I worked there the first time, the rules were very well established. Like Mike Morheim and crew and my boss set up these very established rules for how to handle people that cussed, inappropriate names, where we stood. And then if we ever wanted to ban someone, we had to get permission. So everything was pretty consistent. And then I left and tried to start my own video game company, and it didn't work out too well. Well, it almost worked out real well. I almost got funding 5 different times, but it didn't land, and I ran out of savings, so I went back to work. So with like YouTube, it's pretty inconsistent with who they ban and who they don't ban, and I think they just are so big it's not really that important. It won't be that important until they have competitors, and then they'll have to get a lot better. So I was interested in what Heaven had to say about YouTube, and it was interesting. It wasn't vague, because Heaven's never vague. It was just like, yes, YouTube's a thing. It's here right now. But I saw these little, like, because I was looking like at YouTube from a kind of Heaven perspective. So it was kind of like looking from 3 dimensions to 2 dimensions. Only it was probably like 4 dimensions from 3 to 3 dimensions, or 4 dimensions to 2 dimensions. So like, you ever seen like little cars on like a kid's play track? So there's little cars and trucks going back and forth across, like kind of where YouTube was in a spiritual sense. So it was like saying, but things are afoot, but things are happening. So I don't know why Heaven didn't give me more information. I might have been part of the more information, maybe. So Heaven doesn't always tell me what I'm going to do. And that's not me trying to say that there are big things for me. But I like to be scientific at how Heaven runs, because the science of creation is interesting to me, because the more science we know, the more like consistent factors that are dependable we know, the more we can utilize the power of Heaven and God, and the more we can handle it and utilize it consistently will help bring more people to Christianity, and the more people in Christianity, the better life is. But I haven't been getting a lot of prophecies lately, and so I wanted to get these out of my head, hoping that once they're out, maybe God will give me more. Like, he's not going to pour more into my cup while they're still in my cup. So I think that's the last one I got. Yeah.